Welcome back to our journey through the Bible. Last time, we saw the Israelites miraculously cross the Jordan River. But they weren't there for a vacation. They were there for a home. Standing between them and that home were the fortified, wealthy, and powerful city-states of Canaan. The book of Joshua now shifts from a travelogue into a military chronicle, but with a fascinating twist. These weren't just standard battles. They were what you might call liturgical campaigns, where faith was just as crucial as a sharp sword. First up, the legendary walls of Jericho. This city was the gateway to the rest of Canaan, and its defenses were famous. The gates were shut tight, preparing for a long siege. But instead of ordering his men to build siege ramps, Joshua received a strategy that sounded more like a parade than a military briefing. For 6 days, the Israelite army and priests would march around the city once. Then, on the 7th day, they would march around it 7 times. After the final lap, the priests blew their trumpets, and the people let out a massive shout. In that instant, the Bible says the walls collapsed, and the army charged straight in. Jericho was a first-fruits victory, dedicated entirely to God, and it sent a terrifying message to the rest of Canaan. The God of Israel had arrived, but right after this incredible high came a devastating low. Flushed with success, the Israelites grew overconfident. They sent only a small force to take the next town, Ai, and were soundly defeated. Why? It wasn't a lack of soldiers. A spiritual audit was needed. A man named Achan had stolen some of the forbidden loot from Jericho, breaking faith with God. Once this sin was dealt with, God gave Joshua a brilliant tactical plan. Joshua would lure Ai's army out of the city, while another group of soldiers lay in ambush. As soon as Joshua raised his spear, the ambush party rushed in and captured the defenseless city. With the fall of Ai, the road into the central highlands of Canaan was wide open. As news of these victories spread, the local kings started to panic, but the people of a city called Gibeon decided to use their brains instead of brawn. They dressed up in worn-out clothes, carried moldy bread, and pretended to be from a distant country. They tricked Joshua into making a peace treaty. The Israelite leaders fell for it because they skipped one critical step. They didn't consult the Lord. 3 days later, the truth came out, but an oath was an oath. Joshua kept his word. The Gibeonites became servants to Israel, but this alliance forced Israel into his biggest battle yet. 5 powerful kings from southern Canaan, led by the king of Jerusalem, formed an alliance to punish Gibeon. Joshua marched his army all night to come to their rescue. The battle was epic. God threw the enemy armies into a panic and even sent a devastating hailstorm. But as evening approached, Joshua realized he was running out of daylight. So, in front of everyone, he prayed a truly audacious prayer. Sun, stand still over Gibeon. And the Bible tells us the sun stood still until the victory was complete. This incredible event secured the entire southern half of Canaan for Israel. The final stand took place in the north. The powerful King Jabin of Hazor assembled a massive coalition, an army described as being as numerous as the sand on the seashore, complete with horses and chariots, the tanks of the ancient world. But even against these odds, Joshua's army was victorious. They captured Hazor, the most powerful northern city, and burned it to the ground. The conquest of Canaan wasn't a quick affair. It took many years. But the book of Joshua concludes with a powerful summary of God's faithfulness. He gave them peace, victory over all their enemies, and kept every single promise he had made. The major resistance was broken. Now came an even harder task: dividing the land among the 12 tribes and learning how to live as God as people in their new home. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as incredible as I do, make sure to like and subscribe for more. We'll see you in the next video.